Hello, I'm Gavin Horgan, Headmaster of Millfield School in Somerset, the largest co-educational boarding school in the UK. Welcome to the Millfield Way Podcast. Here, you'll hear from teachers, coaches and students from Millfield and Millfield Prep School. Millfield is traditionally different, and this is the Millfield Way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Millfield Way Podcast, in conversation with Millfield Prep's Director of Cricket, Dave Beal. My name is Matt Davidson and I'm delighted to be joined by Dave this morning. So, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks, Matt. Just had a wonderful couple of hours this morning with, this first thing was I had a girls' senior development squad with the girls, which is lovely because everybody turns up, they're full of energy at 7 o'clock in the morning and they're developing lovely. And then I had a one-to-one lesson with one of the senior boys, one of the better players that we've got here, who's in the county age group at Somerset and actually playing a year up. We've actually got 3 boys this year who are actually under 13s, but are actually in the Somerset under 14 squad. So things are looking promising for them.
Nice, a busy morning for you then.
Yeah.
So before we get into your role at the school, where did your love for cricket come from? How did you get into sport when you were younger?
Yeah, well, I'm a local lad, so I've always lived around Glastonbury Street, and my dad was a very good local sportsman who played all sports, football, cricket, and he used to play football cricket teams, and I, from a very early age, from say 5 years old, I would go with him and spend the whole day either at the football, when he was playing football, or at the cricket pitch, and just playing on the side. And that's how I sort of grew with my love of the game, really. I was a decent footballer, but I think my passion was always cricket. It was always like from day one. And I used to watch it on TV when it was on normal TV. And basically, I sort of would go out in the backyard and copy what I've seen on the TV. That was my coaching. I never had a coach. I basically used to just copy what I saw on the TV and go out in the backyard and play by myself, bowling against the wall, just to develop my game.
So what standard did you play to, and maybe like when did you start coaching as well?
Well, I played, like I said, from Glastonbury from a young age, in the youth, and I played men's cricket for when I was about, I think I was in Glastonbury first team when I was 13. And then when I got to 16, I actually made my Somerset 2s debut. And I played from 16 through to about 21, 22. I actually played, 3 or 4 seconds games for Somerset. But I never really sort of got grabbed by the county to sort of go on to be a professional cricketer. So I then thought I would try to advance my game, and I went out to Australia twice, to Western Australia, and played really good cricket out there, A-grade cricket, and did really well. And actually, the second time when I came back, after a really successful time in Australia, I then went down for winter trainings with Somerset, and Somerset had a different coach, a guy called Bob Cotton, who actually then went on to do some stuff for England as a bowling coach. And he liked me straight away, and I was offered a 2-year contract at Somerset. And then when I was at Somerset, after the first year, I was having a lot of trouble with my back, so I always had back injury as a bowler. And they sent me to a specialist who basically retired me from the game because I couldn't basically play day in and day out. My back would not take it. So I then went back into club cricket, and then I carried on to, I think it was about 33, and I was, even then, I was playing Saturday to Saturday, but it would take me a whole week to recover with my back. So I then got into coaching, and then that's when I came to Millfield. And since then, I've just basically coached cricket, and I still love the game, as passionate about the game as I ever have been, if not more.
So how long have you been at Millfield?
This is my 24th year at Millfield, so a long time. And I'm like, I still love it as much now as I did when I started. Like I said earlier, I'm very passionate about it. I'm passionate about kids developing and just seeing them progress, and hopefully my passion of the game will rub off on them.
So what was that like, getting told, kind of being forced to retire from the game to then going into coaching? Did you feel like you still wanted to be involved in the sport, and if you couldn't kind of progress yourself, you wanted to help other people progress.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing. It was a blow because, you know, I think, you know, every young man's dream, every young boy or even girl's dream is to play at the top level. And, you know, I did, you know, I managed to play first class cricket, and and I've got great memories of that. And it was a bit of a blow, but I always felt that I never really had that type of coaching. And I always felt, even though the injury stopped me, I still felt there was more to my game than actually I showed. And I just felt that I wanted to give others, you know, that opportunity of having a bit more advice. Not so much actually the technical side, the more the mental side. Because I know when I was at Somerset, the mental side was really hard. I used to get very, very nervous. When I used to drive down to Taunton, there was a roundabout just before Taunton, and I used to hit that roundabout and my stomach used to turn. And I never really believed in myself.
Yeah.
And it was only once I stopped playing, I realised actually I was a good player, because I knew there was players who I was not being sort of, you know, big-headed, but I was better at, went on and had a good county career. So I thought I want to give something back to the game, really.
Yeah, and kind of how important is that when you're younger, that you can get that coaching and tips and advice on like the mental side of the game?
I think it's absolutely vital. And one of the things about coaching, team coaching, I love and all that, but the one-to-one that I do here at Millfield, I think is absolutely unbelievably beneficial, because each individual is different.
Yeah.
And I think that is, so when you can work on that one-to-one basis, I think working with each individual differently, and every day they walk into a lesson, they're in a different mood. So it's getting to know them.
It's adapting to that.
Yes,
well,
it is,
yeah.
because you can see, they do a lot at Millfield, and sometimes they might come in, they might have a busy day before, they might have played a hockey game or something, they might be a bit tired, so you adapt that lesson to their needs, in that you can still progress them, but you don't, you know, you make it enjoyable. But you know, like I said, it's each person, each session is adaptable, and to each individual, you work around that.
And we'll get on to those kind of one-on-one sessions and what we offer at Millfield in a little bit. But just back to Somerset, and because you've had a role in the Somerset pathway for, I think was it 20 years you had?
Well, 20, actually, I then, you know, when I started here, I actually was at Somerset, started in Somerset Youth Pathway. And so it was only at the end of this winter I decided to finish, only because I'm busy here. I want to carry on doing more one-to-ones, and I've got a grandchild now and another one on the way, and I want to spend more time with them.
Yeah.
Because I do lead a busy life with my coaching.
Yeah.
But I was actually a coach for 23 years at Somerset.
Yeah. And I know the reason why I brought it up is the video that you showed me, kind of the testimonials of players that you've coached through the Somerset pathway that have gone on to achieve kind of amazing things. So the names that stuck out, so you've got like Josh Butler, you had Jack Leach, Will Smead was in there, but also you had Casey as well. And kind of, what is that like for you to see these guys come in at such a young age? You have kind of such a big impact on their career that they go and achieve these things.
Yeah, it is a wonderful feeling, and that video, you know, actually touched my heart. It was quite amazing for them to do that. And it was a testament of, maybe, you know, they realised what impact I might have helped start them on their journey, because that's what here at school, that I'm trying to be, you know, lead or make an impact at the start of their journey, and to lead them on, you know, help them build strong foundations that they can go on to do greater things. And, you know, like with Josh Butler, that he was actually left the video when he was out on tour, so you know, it meant a lot. In, you know, whenever I see them, or you know, I'm in contact with them, it is lovely to know that, you know, it's not just that I've helped them on the journey, but they you know, they do appreciate it, you know, that there has been somebody there for them all the time.
I was going to ask that question as well. I was like, do they stay in touch? Like, is it nice for them, because they often message you and stuff?
Yeah, no, it's really good, and you know, they're all good. They're lovely lads. You know, the lads from here, Smeedy, Casey Aldridge. You know, I do a charity thing in memory of my dad, for cancer research. and they've helped me out so much with donations of shirts. Will Smead has done private lessons to help with donations for fundraising for cancer research. And, in the last 3 years we've raised £15,000, and it's a lot to do with our ex-pupils who've helped me with this. So it is great that I've got that contact with them, and that they're willing to help out, which is lovely.
Definitely. So let's talk about your role at Millfield Prep. So how did you kind of come into that role of director of cricket? How did the opportunity?
Well, when I came into Millfield to start with, it was just as a coach. And Chris Twart, who was in charge of the cricket then, they needed another coach, so I came in and sort of started on that. And actually, the first 2 years I actually started my coaching here, I actually worked on the grounds here at Millfield, which it was a wonderful experience, because it just makes you appreciate what they do here at the Millfield on the ground staff, because it is absolutely, the facilities, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, are unbelievable. And to actually help out on that and just was really good, and it was good for my development as a person here. And then after 2 years I stopped that, because I built up the one-to-one sort of thing, and I did more and more here. So that's how I sort of got, and then Chris retired, and then I took over director of cricket. So that's how I sort of got into that role, really.
Not looked back since.
Not looked back since, and hopefully many, many more years left in me.
Definitely. And do you have a philosophy in terms of coaching methods? So is there certain... I know we spoke about kind of that mentality coaching earlier, but is there certain things that if a pupil comes in that you've not taught before, there's a way you'd approach kind of learning the basics, the technique or something?
Yeah, I would say I'm a very, very technical coach on the playing side of it. And all, like we said about the mental side, talking about that. But I think, I'm very much a person who believes that you've got to get those key basic fundamentals right at an early age. Because all you can adapt, like Will Smead is a prime example. So when Will was sort of highly rated as a white ball player now in cricket, but when he was at Millfield Prep, I don't think we've seen for a long, long time anybody so technically good. I coached him from year 3, and we worked very hard on the technical side, and I think that has helped him later on in his game, when he's gone into the white ball where they play all these fancy shots in. But I think having those key basic fundamentals really helped develop his game, and like all the children here. And I think if they can have strong foundations, I think then they can just grow from that.
Is that something that he'd agree on, do you think, as well?
Yes, I definitely do. I think he would definitely agree on that, and I think all of them would. As in the video, like Casey said, like how it started him off on the right road, really. And I think it is so important. And like we said earlier about the mental side, just talking about, they've got, it's very, very easy these days for children to be disappointed if things go wrong, but cricket is very much like that. You have a lot of downs, there are ups, and it's learning to cope with those, realising that you're not going to go out every game to get 50 or 100 runs, or you're not going to take 5 wickets every day. You are going to have days when things don't quite run well, and you've got to sort of deal with that and realise that actually the next game's the most important game, whether you've done well or whether you haven't done so well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so the facilities on offer here at the prep school, so they are fantastic, isn't it? The pitch is phenomenal, even the nets that we've got. Could you kind of talk about? Yeah,
it is an unbelievable place to work for the children to grow up and play. I come in every day and it's just unbelievable. It just makes you feel so good. We've got 4 very, very, very good indoor nets. We've got 8 brilliant outdoor nets. We got 4 main cricket squares with superb wickets and outfield, and then we've got 2 artificial wickets here, and then we've got 4 outgrounds where we can play softball and do training as well. So we've got wonderful facilities.
In the summer, it's nice because the summer term, you look around, even if you're in the pavilion, and there is just cricket everywhere, isn't there? Because there's so many places you can play, whether it's training or matches. Yeah, there is so many places.
And on every Saturday, every Saturday and Wednesday, throughout the summer term, on all the wickets, the four grass squares and the 2 artificial. There will be matches, boys and girls. And I think that is just wonderful to see with our wonderful pavilion right in the middle of it all, where you can look from the balcony and see all these games going on, and not just games going on, kids having great fun.
Yeah.
And I think that is the most pleasant thing about it, is if you just stand up there and just watch and just listen to the buzz, it's quite exciting.
Because I think that's important to mention, isn't it? Because you do get the players that go on and achieve great things, but I guess that kind of the prep school, the key is kids trying out for the first time, maybe just having fun, just enjoying their sport. The ones that kind of, like you said, the ones that go on and play for counties, great. But it's more important that everyone is here and everyone can enjoy their sport.
Oh, definitely. And I do with my 1-to-1s, it's not just for the top end. I will coach anybody.
Yeah.
And to me, the ones who are just starting is actually the most exciting ones to coach, because with each session you can see big improvements. I'm hoping every 1-to-1 session that they are improving. But with those ones who are starting the game, you see massive improvements.
Yeah.
And then the beauty of it is when they realise.
It's that click, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of the people we've had on the podcast have said the same things, that maybe it wasn't the reason why they got into it, but the reason that kept them in kind of teaching and coaching is that realisation when a child kind of just clicks, and a skill that they've learned or something they've been taught, and they get it.
It is lovely. And then, it makes me laugh. Like even now in the middle of winter, I'm doing a lesson at break time or lunchtime, and I'm looking up, and in the schoolyard they're playing cricket with a table tennis bat, or they're playing cricket with their shoe off. It's so funny, but it's just lovely, and that's girls as well. It's just not boys. It's just wonderful to see.
Yeah. And do the prep school pupils get the chance to train at the senior school as well? So do you often go up? Is there a good link?
Which is brilliant. So we go over. We now started this once a month. We go over in the morning, like I said, because our development squad sessions are 7:00 in the morning, so it's very early.
Yeah.
And then I'm very keen that they get back into lessons dead on time. They've had a good breakfast.
Yeah.
So we have to start at 7, and we go over once a month to the senior school and use amazing facilities over the new indoor cricket centre, which is absolutely
That's fantastic
amazing
as well.
And we have a lovely breakfast over there, and the kids absolutely love it. It's really good and it's great. And we've got that link with the senior school, so the senior school coaches help out as well.
Oh, that's great.
So that when the children go over in year 9, they know them all. They know before they get over there.
It's familiar faces.
Yeah,
as
you've
well,
got those faces. They know their strengths. That they've got. So that is wonderful. For them, the link up is brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
And I remember being at the senior school in one of the holidays, and they had the Somerset team training, and a few of the bowlers were indoors.
Yes, yeah.
Training, because the facilities are that good, aren't they?
Well, it's not just Somerset. Gloucester go there. A lot of the professional clubs now use Millfield Indoor Cricket Centre because of the longer run-ups and the brilliant facilities there. So we're very, very lucky.
Yeah. And so what opportunities do pupils get to get involved in cricket? So boys and girls,
Yeah,
so what age do they start?
so from all year round, from September, from the first week they come back to school, we're into cricket straight away. We feel here that, especially the boarders and new children, it's a great settling thing that they can go and do something they like or they love. So we start off in September. Everybody in the school can play cricket at least once a week. And there's also then some development squads for our top end, our elite sports young stars, which is extra. And then anybody is open for 1-to-1 lessons. So basically you get a form that you put in. If you want a 1-to-1 lesson, that could be a half hour, that could be an hour or an hour and a half. And they can have cricket private 1-to-1s. Yeah. So there's cricket for all here.
Because that's the thing, you think of cricket and you think summer sport, but actually it starts in September, and it is it's all year round, isn't it? Constant.
Yes, it is, and the winter stuff is so important. Like I said, for working on the tactical side, the technical side as well. So
yeah, and so again, it ties into the next question. But you don't need any kind of previous cricket experience to have a 1-to-1 or to have a session.
Not at all. So I do, like I said, I've done pre-prep here as well. We do softball, so we've got cricket equipment here for them. So it is really, really lovely when they're starting from fresh, because you can hopefully get them into the correct habits straight away, and you ain't got any bad habits to sort of iron out.
Yeah, definitely. And so, looking more kind of at the performance squad and kind of the top end, like dedicated series cricketers, what can like a day or week look like for them? Like, so maybe in the summer term, like how much cricket is going on in their weeks?
Yeah, well, for a start, in the winter, I'm very, very keen here, and we are as a school, that they play all sports. I think all sports help their game. I really do believe that in cricket, that your hockey, football, whatever, it can help their game. But they got their senior or junior development squads, boys and girls, where they'll have an hour and a half. And there's also the cricket clubs as well. And then going into the summer, that then is their game session. So twice a week they will have game sessions, and also there will be matches on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Yeah. And
we also play on Sundays as well, where we play the county teams on Sundays as well, and even sometimes on Saturday and Wednesday. So there's loads of matches in it, which is great. It's in the short term, which is unfortunate. I wish it was the longest term, but we do have lots and lots of cricket, and it's not just for A's and B's teams. So C's and D's as matches, so everybody can play.
Yeah.
Everybody can play, and that's the beauty.
Yeah, it's interesting you said about kind of trying out all sports, because I remember in a video, it was James Hildreth, he went on to play for Somerset. He said in an interview, I think Joe Morgan Hughes used to coach him hockey, and some of the hockey shots he learned, he then turned into his game when he was playing cricket a little bit later on. Yeah,
definitely. I know James very well, and yes, he was a very talented sportsman in all of it. I think he was a top county tennis player, and it will help their games. And I think that's really important that they do that. Really, I think they play all their sports. So I'm very, very keen for them to do that.
Yeah. And so we said about playing matches every Wednesdays and Saturdays, but what competitions do Millfield cricketers get in? And is it the indoor lady?
Yep. So we're actually currently playing, or in the process of playing this the next few weeks. Actually, the next round of the Lord's Taverners ladies indoor cricket, which the final was actually at Lord's, and we've actually won this 3 times, which is an unbelievable experience, where you go up playing the indoor, go around the ground, and we've won that 3 times, and we've got a good little side this year. I'm hoping, but as in all sport, you've got to play well on the day, and there's other good teams, but the standard of that has also improved dramatically from when we first won it. Each year it's getting better and better.
Is that from all teams in the competition?
Which
is a great thing, isn't it?
I think because women's cricket is just grown, and there's so much now. Like counties are putting more and more coaching on, so I think that is grown strong, and I think you can see that. At school level, how much it's improved as well.
And so, what other competitions? Is it counties?
And also in the summer we play our county boys and girls cup competitions, and there's also the IAPs that we go in for the cups for that, and we hold a boys and girls IAPs competition here as well. And also there is the Bunbury Cup, which you have to win the county cup in under 12 county cup to enter the Bunbury the following year. So if you win the Bunbury, you've won it over 2 years. State schools are involved in this as well, and we've won that quite a few times as well. I think 6 times. I think we've won that. Oh, wow. So we're in that this year, and we've got high hopes. But like I said earlier, it all depends on the day and other teams. But we are entering that this year. So if we have a good run in both those 3 cups, the boys. There could be a lot of cricket this summer, which is nice.
Always good for you, isn't it?
Great for me.
More cricket, yeah. And so I know we talked about the kind of competitions, but are any dates in the calendar that you look forward to each year that are set in stone? So maybe the IAPS that you host, is that quite a nice day?
Yeah, well, both we do that actually on the same week. On the Tuesday, the girls have an IAPS, and on the Thursday in May, we have the boys. And that is, like I said, wonderful. You get all the schools coming in, and we're playing on our wonderful pitches here, and that's a great day. And then obviously, you don't always think you can get to the final, but you look at those final dates and sort of pencil them in your diary, think with fingers crossed, hoping that you might make it to those finals.
No, I love it. And so Millfield is a school, and therefore kind of academics are a priority. So how do you ensure that pupils get that balance with their sporting commitments and academics? You said about making sure they're always in lessons on time. Is that something that you've always tried to do?
It is. I'm very, very strong on this. Yeah. I'm one of the key things when they leave the session is have a good day and make sure you work hard in the class. And I think that is really important. And I keep an eye out on them, all round school, because I'm here all day, and I keep an eye out for all the kids. And I speak to the teachers, and if the teachers know that if some of the pupils are slipping behind maybe with their work, they've only got to say to me, and I will have a word and say, look, if you don't keep on top of your schoolwork, you won't be able to come to the cricket session, because that is really important. Dom Kelly, who's over the senior school in uppers at the moment, who's just come back from playing for England under-19s in the World Cup, he came to school, and Dom, I think we'll admit, he sort of struggled a bit with concentration in the classroom, and I would constantly see him every day and tell him that he had to work in the classroom hard. And I think even though Dom did unbelievably well here and he progressed tremendously, I think one of my proudest things about Dom is when Dom came here and when he left, he actually, in the classroom on the academic side, actually was the most improved pupil. Yeah. And to me, that meant more than probably his progress in the cricket.
Yeah, which is great.
I was helped him, guide. I was a mentor for him, saying you've got to work hard in the classroom. So I think that, and I think Don will agree with me. And even now, when I see him occasionally, I say, "You still working hard in the classroom?" And he just gives me a lovely smile and he says, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir."
And is it important for everyone? So I know you do it, but is it important for all kind of sports coaches to have that same mentality that we're coaching sport, but they need to do the work in the classroom? This is almost like a reward for them working hard.
It is, definitely. And we do keep an eye on it. We keep an eye on their workload. So every Wednesday we have all the sports staff have a meeting, and we discuss things about children, people that are maybe with heavy programs, that we're making sure they don't overdo it, and we're making sure with their group tutors that they are keeping up with their work. So every child here is monitored, and on Wednesdays we discuss this and make sure that that they're not falling behind, which as the school, as a sports staff, we are very, very, very sort of keen on.
Yeah, and I know we've mentioned, so Dom, I think there's a great example of this, but also some of the styles earlier that we mentioned. But are there any other success stories that you're particularly proud of? So people that maybe have started from day one and have progressed really taken a liking to cricket, or any other success stories like that?
They all, like, the thing is, even with your Will Smead cases, they all started from you. This was like Will's parents were not cricketers. They started here, so they're all. And to be honest, they're all success stories. And I know that might sound a bit corny, but I really, really mean that. I've had people who come up who I've seen like in the street saying, "Sir, I still play cricket, but I play for my local village side." And to me, that is so important. Because it's not all about playing for counties; it's about the whole grassroots of cricket. We've got to make sure that these cricket clubs, at the lower end of the game are surviving, and if some of our ex-pupils are helping with that, then to me that's a success story.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great answer. And just before we kind of asked a few last questions, whilst I've been at the school, we've had a few so you've had Wales, you've had national sides that have come down, you've also played against Gloucester. how good is that for the pupils here to kind of test themselves against those squads coming in? Because it's competitive games, isn't it, for the top end?
Yeah, so we played the Welsh teams, Somerset, Gloucester, Hampshire, Wiltshire, Dorset. We play the county side. And we give them good matches. And the key, I think, with coaching is stretching each pupil. But one thing that I think we're very good at here is we do stretch them, but we don't want them to lose their confidence. So it is managing that we are stretching them, but they're not going to lose that confidence because it's too hard. So I think
the enjoyment as well.
And the enjoyment.
They come hand in hand.
I think that is, like, at the end of the day, they got to enjoy it. And I think, the beauty about it is at the end of the summer, they're as sad as what I am that the summer's over and the cricket season's gone. Yeah. But hopefully they'll have those sweet memories.
Perfect. And so the last question, so we do ask everyone that comes on the podcast, so 3 main takeaways from the Millfield Prep School. So obviously it'll be focused on cricket. So kind of how would you sum up cricket and Millfield Prep in 3 main takeaways?
Well, I think the 3 main takes are really that, one, that you could come to Millfield and you can play cricket all year round.
Yeah. So all year round.
In a friendly environment where you've got your director of cricket who's passionate about the game, passionate about you developing as a child in the game. And then 2, I think that when the summer comes, loads of opportunities to play many, many matches in team environments where you can grow friendships, you can have fun, and you can learn from those match situations, the ups and downs of it. And 3, I think the third one really rolls into the second one, where memories are made. Memories are made, and also that they can go on to in future years, go on to senior school and have those sweet memories, but also know that we're still here and to keep in touch, and knowing that I will keep close contact and see how they further progress down the line with their cricket, and just mainly that they had a great time here.
Love it. Well, I think that's a great way to end the podcast. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it.
I loved it, and I hope my passion comes across.
I think it did. And I hope the listeners enjoyed this episode of the Millfield Way Podcast. Thank you and goodbye.